No, would you two stop? I'm gonna ask to have you broken up.
New grade this
You can't do that.
Oh, I can ask.
You
I'm
can
not
ask.
saying that.
You can ask all day long if you want.
She's not. She's. No.
All right, it's 6 p.m.
This is the.
We start tonight and call the order a public hearing regarding the proposed annual appropriation ordinance for the Village of Chatham for the fiscal year beginning May 1, 2021 and ending April 30th, 2022. Is there anybody that would like to comment or speak to the annual appropriation ordinance? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Now I'll call to order the regular village board meeting. If you'd all please rise and join me in a moment of silence. And the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you take roll, please?
Trustee Mao. Here. Trustee Ferguson.
Present.
Trustee Charles.
Present.
Trustee Detmers. Here. Trustee Gerger.
Present.
Trustee Scherschel.
Present.
Village President Kimsey.
Present. At this time, we'll invite County Clerk Don Gray and County Auditor Andy Goldman up. I had started the meeting already.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and members of the board. Appreciate the opportunity to visit with you tonight. I'm Andy Goldman, the Sangamon County Auditor. We try to make semi-regular visits if we can, semi-annual visits if we can. So this is our regular visit with you folks. Give you a little update on what's going on in our office and also in the county. My job essentially is to monitor the internal financial operations of the Sangamon County, and we are the official accountant of the Sangamon County also. I want to talk a little bit about, I gave you a brochure, tell you a little bit more in depth about what our office does, but I want to talk about things that are going on right now. One of the things that you're probably very familiar with is the COVID situation that we're dealing with and what we've been dealing with. As you know, there's been 3 programs from the federal government that we've been dealing with. First round was CARES. That's primarily dealt with elections, contact tracing, and other specific programs that the county health department has to deal with and has dealt with. The second round was CURES. That money went primarily to the counties, the cities, and the villages. Between those two, Sangamon County got about $3 million out of that. And then lastly, the newest program that's out there is the American Recovery Act. And Sangamon County's got a total of $37.8 million on that. We received a first payment of that, which was $18.9 million that's been deposited in the bank. The second payment will be next year. And of course, all that money is up to the county to decide on, the county board to decide on how they're going to spend that money. I think most of you know that I deal with the county administrator, Brian McFadden. We do the budget. We have been doing the budget for 19 years now when I was on the county board previous to that. So this year's budget's $121.5 million. Of that, the largest line item is, of course, the Sheriff's Department. It's $22.3 million. We have currently about 684 full-time county employees. We deal with fixed assets. My office deals with that. Our definition of a fixed asset is anything that has a value of $500 or more. And also our capital asset has a value of $5,000 or more. Between those two, we have about 7,200 assets that we deal with, and my office is responsible for that. So we're kind of busy. I think with that, I'll just leave it open for any questions that you might have, but I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you and tell you a little bit about what's going on in Sangamon County.
You want to have any questions for Auditor Goldman?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, nice to see everybody. It's wonderful to be out here. It's nice to see everybody's faces again. Nothing brings me great joy and moves and motivates my spirit than to see the smile of Mayor Kimsey. So I'm wonderful that it's back again. So I first want to start by congratulating all of you. Certainly, what we've gone through is a very challenging time in all of the sectors of our lives, from our professions to our personal lives, and of course, here in the village. And you should be congratulated for the wonderful service that you provided your constituency here. You are a fantastic community. You're all wonderful leaders, and you helped shepherd through your community in a very difficult time. So be very proud of yourselves. You did a wonderful, fantastic job. What's going on in the county clerk's office? Well, of course, there's always this evolving administration of elections. It never seems to stay in one place, and it continues to evolve even as we speak. We've had some changes as we approach our next kind of gold standard election next year in 2022, which is our statewide gubernatorial election. So all the constitutional officers are on the ballot. Of course, we're in a redistricting framework, so we're going to see all the legislature on the ballot once again. Of course, all of our congressional folks and our federal partners. County board will also all be on the ballot, and districts are currently in the process of being redrawn. There's a problem with that, though, and why we've had substantial change going into 2022. The United States Census data utilized to craft these jurisdictions of maps for elected office hasn't officially been received by the jurisdictions. We expect to see that data in September, and then we'll be able to appropriately complete the congressional maps, the county maps, and the precinct level maps. Until we have that, there's not much more that we can administer and put in place. And the great foresight of our legislature, they thought about this and what implications it may have in election administration, and there would be nothing more tragic than rushing a proper administration of election. So they've given us more time as we approach the 2022 cycle. And that time essentially is now moving our primary from March to June. So this is the moment, if you've ever thought and wondered in your mind, and lots of people have, will more people vote when it's nicer outside and warm during the summertime than in the winter time of March? This is your opportunity to prove them that that's right, and maybe it will precipitate some change here in Illinois. So we're looking at January 13th, my birthday. Hello, they keep giving me the presents I keep on giving. That's when we start circulation for office. March 7th through the 14th will be that filing period. And early voting and vote by mail promptly will start mid-May. And then, of course, election day for the primary will be June 28th. And then we'll quickly turn all that around, and we'll prepare for the November general election. The comfort in this is knowing that how and the timing in which we are administering the primary election is the same for what we've always gone through in timing. So they're not condensing or giving us less time to administer our services. It's just happening in a different season. So know that that's upon us. The other really important change that's upon us that we'll be launching here after the first of the year is another voter service, and it's centered in and around vote by mail. Now it's the opportunity of a permanent vote by mail list. This is where you can register once or application once to always receive your ballot by mail, as long as your address of registration doesn't change or your name. Yeah, obviously, if you have to re-register to vote, you have to re-enroll into always receiving your ballot by mail. Know that this also has some built-in controls to the accountability of the database that we keep for vote by mail. We're mandated to have to send mailings like we do with our voter registration database to ensure you are who you are, that you're still living at the address that you're still living at the address of the registration and the request of the ballot by mail. So we're not just sending out ballots all over. We're confirming and making sure those that have enrolled in this program are properly at the address where they belong, and they'll receive their ballot. So that's the things that we're working on. That's what you'd expect to come here in the future. Of course, we're spending a lot of time educating the public about election administration, its security, and its integrity. Matter of fact, I was just spoken to our friends here at Scoop du Jour that we're hopefully coming back to their facility sometime here in the fall. Hand out some wonderful glazed donuts that are festive to being all Americana, and some scoops of ice cream, and have a little town hall talking about all the elements of the things that we do to secure your elections, from ensuring we have paper ballots as a trail, tabulation equipment that doesn't have any modems or connection to the exterior internet. Having clear and concise vote by mail procedures, that we have enhanced signature checks, all those types of things that we do so that you can be very proud of knowing that when you have a finalized result of your election, that it's an accurate one of how people cast ballots. So that's what we're up to, and we'll continue to keep working hard. Like Auditor Goldman said, being out and about in the community like this is where we really learn things that are very specific to your community that we can either improve on or contemplate to bring better service. So if you have any of those things at any time when it comes to election administration, comes to vital records, issuance, et cetera, we would love to hear them because that's what makes us better. I'm sure Clerk Holden can tell you we can only clerk as well as what we know and how we can operate. So certainly let us know what those ideas may be. Any questions or anything I can address now? Oh, Mr. Mount.
Did you want to plug your Shred Day coming up?
Oh, thank you very much for reminding me of that. We've partnered, when I say we, the county clerk's office, because it's a group effort. It's not just me. We've partnered with State Representative Mike Murphy on August 7th. So next week, Saturday, 10 to 1 here at the Chatham Square. He's having a shred and kind of constituent services day. And the mobile unit of our Vital Records Division will be a part of that and present. So we'll be able to issue birth, death, marriage licensing, business registration, raffle licensing, all the things that we do internally in our office. We have remote on the road and can do right here in your community. So we're looking forward to bringing it to you. And Chatham's always been great about that. We always have a good turnout when we have the mobile unit present. So thank you for reminding me of that. Appreciate that. Any other questions?
Anyone?
Yes. So law enforcement's important to Andy and I. It should be to all of us. And is the chief here? I don't even know if he's here today.
Yes.
Yes, there he is in the back. Good to see you, Chief. Chief, no, we're going to be back. We want to honor you and your department and the great job that you do and how much we appreciate how you keep us safe on a daily basis. And that honoring and being a part of you is Andy Goldman's going to spend a lot of money on a big, big lunch, and I'm going to help fork in a little bit as well. And we're going to come and set a time and break some bread with you and your department and tell you how much we appreciate you. Much appreciated. Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you back in the fall.
All right.
Thank you for everything. We appreciate you guys so much. Great community.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Take care, everyone. Good seeing you.
Are there any public announcements? Hearing none. Pat, would you grab me the sign-in sheet, please? We do have one sign. We'll move to public comments. As a reminder, our public comment period is a 5-minute session. It's an opportunity for citizens to give comments to the board. Please direct your comments to the board and not to each other, and we'll respect the person who is speaking, Mr. Shad.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Board, and thank you to Trustee Detmers and Scherschel, because had I not seen them walk in the neighborhood about the dog park, I wouldn't be here. I have lived in the Buckingham subdivision for many years. I moved in there in 1980. And I care about that neighborhood. It's a great neighborhood. I care about the quality of life. I'm thrilled to see the West Side Park being developed. I've watched it over the years, with kids playing ball in there. Wes and Linda Green over on Oxford Drive had their Sunday afternoon volleyball games, and they would maintain the court. They would bring in their net. I'm sure they're going to be thrilled to see that coming back. But, I think a dog park's a great idea, and I'm in favor of it. If there are problems with people that aren't responsible, that's something we can deal with them if it comes. But other than that, I'm all for it. And like I said, I've lived in that neighborhood for over 40 years, and I think it's a good thing. And I think it's good for the quality of life. I see a lot of people walking dogs down the streets, and a lot of kids in that neighborhood. And so I think that overall, I'm glad to see the development rather than just sitting there and nothing being done with that property. So you got my vote. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Shad was the only one who signed up. Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
I just have 2 questions.
Can you come up to the mic and let everybody know who you are?
You all know who I am.
Well, you have a wide audience.
Okay. Becky Ethel. The company that is gone through town and dug the cable and everything, are they gonna come back and reseed the dirt that they've left in the yards?
So that's actually not to our agenda, but we can answer. They have on their website a contact list. Their commitment when they came into the town is that they would restore things back to how they found it. So if you're experiencing a challenge or have a question for them, their contact's on their webpage.
I have two big piles of black dirt in my front yard that I just finally got my front yard looking good from when Amarin was in there 5 years ago. So I'm a little disturbed. The next one, and maybe Pat, you can answer that. When is the sidewalk going to be fixed?
We have hopefully passed the budget tonight, and Shane has put together a bid package for sidewalk roofs, and that's one of the ones that's going to get done.
Do
So,
you know how long it will take?
no, I don't.
Because it's been there, it's been dug out, there's too big.
Orange cones. Orange cones are sitting there?
No, they're not orange cones, they're the flashing lights.
Oh, okay.
That have been sitting there for 5 months.
Probably, yeah.
Will the tree be cut down at the same time?
I'm not sure on that. I know we had money in the budget to trim some trees, but I'm not sure if that one's coming down or not.
Well, that's why the sidewalk has buckled, is the roots from those trees. So it kind of seems silly to fix the sidewalk if you're not going to get rid of the tree. That's the only thing I ask.
All right, thanks, Ms.
Thanks.
Anybody else would like to speak to the agenda topics?
Hi, I'm Fran Abbott, and I just wanted to speak in favor of the dog park in case anybody's on the fence. We have so many dogs coming to Skip to Shore. We have so many customers that have gotten new dogs over COVID, and we're seeing a lot of people wanting to surrender their dogs. Now they're going back to work. They don't get enough activity. It's not a lot of people, but, there are people, it's becoming a problem. And we want to make sure that people and their dogs have good exercise, mental health. We have a new pet store coming to town. They're one of the sponsors of the Pawsapalooza, which is putting on to raise money for the dog park. So I think that will bring revenue. It's going to, bring people to the pet store, the dog park. They're going to come to Chatham as a destination. And I think it's really important. So I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you, Ms. Adams.
Thank you.
Any additional comment? Hearing none, entertain a motion to put the consent agenda on the table.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Charo's made a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Trustee Ferguson. Is there any discussion regarding the warrants or the minutes? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, would you take a roll?
Trustee Mao. Trustee Ferguson.
Yes.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Scherschel.
Yes.
No old business. Under new business, an ordinance making an appropriation for all corporate purposes for the fiscal year commencing on the first day of May 2021, ending the 30th day of April 2022. Could I have a motion to bring this to the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee
Second.
Miles made a motion, second by Trustee Charo. Sherry, the staff, our administrative team have put together a budget that we believe provides ample amount of flexibility for us to operate throughout the course of the year. Similar to the situation we saw ourselves in last year with the anticipation of actually receiving some of the ARP money that Clerk Gray or Auditor Goldman had talked about. The county's already gotten some of their shares. When those things do arrive, and as we determine what the plan for use will be on all those, similar to last year, I anticipate that prior to the end of this year, we will revisit this budget and have an amendment to take the appropriate actions at those points in time. Sherry's here if you have any additional questions, but I think they were awfully thorough in their presentation. What's in front of you is the appropriation ordinance. This is the line item, high-level line item authority amounts. Any additional discussion?
I appreciate all the work Sherry did. I support the budget, but I just want to state, I know that we're not approving anything specific through the budget, so I do support that, and I know we've talked about different things in terms of specifics that we're going to be discussing as we identified in the last meeting. One of those, I support Trustee Detmer's recommendation for the need for HR. I also would like to see, I think there's a need in communication. I know that's specifics that's not identified in this budget appropriation, but just I wanted to state that.
Thank you, Trustee Churchill. Any further? Mr. Clerk?
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Ferguson.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 2 is a resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code. Can I have a motion to bring this to the floor?
I'll move.
Trustee Detmer's made a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Trustee Mao. Pat, correct me if I state this wrong. This is the amendment to the previously issued MFT in response to the bids that we received on the Oak Brook project.
Bid came in higher than what our engineer's estimate was. The state okayed paying that higher amount as long as the village was okay with paying that higher amount.
So this is the project Jim had described 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk?
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Ferguson.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Item 3 is a resolution approving a collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police through April 30th of 2025. Motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Mao, seconded by Trustee Charo. Four-year union agreement with the FOP, which covers our officers and dispatchers at this point in time. Is there any discussion? I do want to commend both our negotiating staff, and I think it's worthwhile to note the FOP's negotiating staff and what I consider to be a very kind of fruitful negotiation where everybody understood a lot of, not only the challenges that villages are facing, but concerns from the FOP. And to get to a spot where we get an agreement like this, I think speaks volumes to both sides of this negotiation. So, Mr. Clerk?
It's just me. Go ahead.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Ferguson.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 4 is a resolution establishing the electric rates for the Village of Chatham. Can I have a motion to bring this to the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Miles made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Detmers. As discussed at the committee meeting, one of the challenges that we're facing and have seen a trend over the prior, this will be into the 3rd year, is one of the metrics that we look at when determining if our electric rate is set correctly is, are we at the appropriate metric comparing the revenues of the village electric department to what the supply cost would be. And over the years, we've seen that metric increase where we're covering less and less of the supply cost that were provided, and similar to how we structure our rate increases for water and sewer based on whatever our providing entities are charging to the village. The recommendation is made to set these as the rates, which would represent a 3% increase over where the rates have been since fiscal year 2019. Discussion?
I'll state, one of the things, I'm probably a no, and some of those reasons are that when I look at the most recent financial report, the change in net position is positive for the electric fund is greater than the water. I also know that I'm gauging this with, what our utility payments are for our customers. And I know the need and where it's going, and I know that there's things coming down from the pike from the state that we're gonna have to consider. So before getting the cart before the horse on what could be occurring there, I'm just not ready to support a jump in our electric rates.
We have an opportunity, our rates have increased twice from the IMEA, and we have done nothing about that. We can make this small increase without, if we pass it again, when we get our rates increased again, we'll have to do a much larger increase. And this is that opportunity to make it a smaller
more manageable increase.
I would echo Trustee Mao's comments just in that I realize that no one would like a cost increase, and I'm one of them. I think it is helpful for us to make small, manageable changes, and that helps our family's budget and plan accordingly versus having a much larger raise that might have been unexpected. So just for a summary, since the last change on July 10th, 2018, it's explained that our costs have gone up 8.6% from our suppliers. So a raise of 3%, while it's difficult for many, I think it's still under what our costs are going up, and we have to just think in the long term just as we are in the short. So that's my position.
I also would like to point out that, you know, the current projections are neutral to going down for IMEA. So to make this decision now without knowing that, I see a 3% now, and then who knows what the state will give us, 10, 15, whatever it may be. I still think we don't need the 3%. Our cash flow is fine. When we get that big state increase, we just pass on what the state gives us, and we still can operate. So I'm where Trustee Scherschel is.
I'm in favor of a smaller increase now to prevent a bottleneck occurring down the road. I live here too, I pay electric here too, and I don't want an increase either, but I also don't want to pay 6% in 4 years as opposed to 3% now. And somebody is going to eat this cost anyway. So I am in favor of a 3% now.
I am in favor of not raising rates currently. So I'd like to see a little bit more time for us to dive into the numbers, if that's okay. Because I think this is a big decision that we've got to make together. And the numbers, I'd like to look into the numbers a little bit more and see how we can help the citizens a little bit.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Trustee, or Mr. Clerk.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Clerk.
Trustee Ferguson.
No.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
No.
Trustee Scherschel.
No.
Village President Kimsey.
Yes. Item 5 is a resolution approving a bid to remove all the wood debris on 3 acres located at 9507 South Main. A motion to bring this to the floor.
Make that motion.
Trustee Miles made a motion. To have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Charo. This is the RFP that went out. Pat described the responses that we got that cleans up all the stuff that's accumulated out behind and beside the utility buildings. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk. Let's call him trustee.
Give me a second. Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Ferguson.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Scherschel.
Yes.
Item 6 is a resolution approving an agreement with Friends of the Chatham Friends of the Park for construction and maintenance agreement for the West Side Dog Park. Motion. Trustee Detmers has made a motion. Of a second.
Second.
Second by everybody. Is there a need for discussion?
All you got.
I don't know, Trustee Detmers, I don't know if you want to start, or I will.
Let me start. Thank you too
Yeah.
for doing what you did,
Yes.
walking. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was definitely a worthwhile. Obviously, Trustee Detmers is more knowledgeable, has been put a lot of time in the last several years in terms of the comprehensive plan for the parks. So he was able to share the overall plan with all the neighbors. We were able to meet as we walked around and talked with the neighbors. Is some great conversations with all of them. We've had the one resident that came in and had concerns. We talked with him on the day as well. And we even talked with other neighbors that were a no, but were against the dog park. And as we talked with him, he went from a no to a neutral. And then we ran into him again, and I think he was just straight in favor.
Yeah.
And then everyone else was completely in favor. one of the constituents identified earlier. They love seeing that the park is getting attention, that's a vital park. I know personally, living on that side of the town, that's the near closest neighborhood park, that it adds that form and function to that park as well. So it was nice to hear all the positive feedback from all the neighbors around that neighborhood, because we tried to really identify all of them that were home and available to, that were within sight of that park. Some of the highlights I remember, I don't know, Trustee Detmers, if I forgot anything.
Oh, no, I think you covered it. One of the things that was mentioned by a few that I hadn't really considered is that dogs are at the park already. It's just right now they're off lead and running through that park. And this might actually provide a safer experience for folks of that area and neighborhood. And we talked to many about the double gating and what efforts we're taking to try to make the park usable for all, but safe for the community as well. So as things arise, as they probably will, we'll work to address them. But I appreciate everybody who participated in both the comprehensive plan in 2019 and those that have listened to us since then. So appreciate it.
I think we would all be remiss if we didn't mention this actually is made possible by the efforts of the Chatham Friends of the Parks. I know we have one of the organizers for the Pawsapalooza event that's sitting in here smiling at this concept. I know this, Jeff's, has been a dream of yours as you went to it. It really speaks to a lot of the community support that we have, not just for a dog park idea, but for our parks in general, and what the Friends of the Park have been able to accomplish between Pawsapalooza, kite festivals, and Light Up the Park, and the just outpouring of support that is given to that organization through our community and through our corporate sponsors. I say I'm still tied closely to that. I helped start that organization, so it's always going to be near to me. So we appreciate all the efforts for all the volunteers and all those that support the Chatham Friends of the Park and the generous offer that the foundation has now made to construct this dog park for us.
One more item I feel we need to talk about is the Chatham Township and their dedication to the village and the work that they've done to make Westside Park great again. I'll put that on a hat. But, I mean, honestly, it pains me to go out there and there not be kids running around and having fun. And I'm really excited to get that park up and running again. I think this dog park gift is the first step to that end. But the Chatham Township also made this possible. So thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you to all of them.
Ready? Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Ferguson.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
This gets Dewey out of the doghouse, correct? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we just voted for?
Some day trips.
I'm excited.
Item 7 is a resolution consenting to the appointment of Mayor of the Ferguson to the Utility Oversight Commission.
I'll move.
Trustee Detmers, second by Trustee Mao. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Schedule of meetings has the village board at 6 p.m. on August 10th. Committee of the whole follows at 6:15 or thereafter. Fire and Police Commission, August 18th, 5:30. Planning Commission, 6 p.m. on August 19th. Village Board meets again 6 p.m. August 24th. Public Properties and Recreation Commission, September 13th at 6 p.m. The Utility Oversight Subcommittee, 7 o'clock, September 17th or after that meeting. Are there any additional public comments regarding village business tonight? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to move to closed session. Personnel under 2C1, setting the price for sale of public property under 2C6, and the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body under 2C5.
Move.
Second.
Trustee Detmers made a motion, seconded by Trustee Charo. There will be no official board action taken after the closed session, so we will just come back to adjourn. There's no further business that the board will address after that session. Mr. Clerk, would you take a roll, please?
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Ferguson.
Yes.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
All right. Board will move to closed session?